Hello and welcome to a very special video for a few things. Today is the 3rd anniversary of Assassin's Creed Origins, or rather the 3-year anniversary of Assassin's Creed Origins 3 years ago. Also, my channel has just broken 500 subscribers. I was planning to do another open world video, and then I remembered that I could use Discovery Tour to show off animation hotspots. This is something I was talking about in the previous video, but you couldn't see them because they were hidden. So in this video I'm going to show some of them off, again in one of my favourite places. You might recognise the Temple of Sekhmet in Yamu. But what I also want to do is I'm going to link into the description to the Farland School of Game Design, Stanislav's YouTube channel, so you can see another video on how they accomplished the AI behind these animation hotspots. So to get started, if you look at this particular scene here, you will see that there are circles on the ground, and if I move Aya into those circles, she will start interacting with that scene based on whatever animation is tied to that circle. And what makes Origins interesting is that you have all of these AI characters that have a schedule. I mentioned that in the earlier Origins video. They have a day-night schedule. They do their own thing. The children play. The animals follow AI subroutines. And the guards ride back and forth, carrying cargo. And everything transpires to a schedule, a time schedule. And these people move around the world, interacting with each other based on these animation hotspots, such as the Smiths over here. If you look, there are hotspots nearby, and moving Aya into one of them triggers the animation. If I move her into the other, you'll get another animation. So if two NPCs move and enter those animation hotspots based on their pathfinding, you will get that animation. I can trigger the blacksmith animation. And this is how Origins, in a way, tricks you in making the world seem alive, because all these people do these things, but they don't just continually repeat them ad infinitum, constantly, day in, day out, without some form of break. So when the schedule reaches the right point in time, they'll arrive to do their job, just like that man did. And populate the scene. And there are numerous hotspots tagged all over the world for people to find, to interact with. And as you wander around, if you put Discovery Tour on, you can find certain ones by accident if they're there, because they will light up as circles on the ground, and you can experiment looking at them and seeing what they might be. Also, it's great if you want to take a photo in photo mode. You can easily trigger photo mode, post your scene, take your photo. And you see the children moving around. Here's a worker's animation. Now we can get Aya to sit there. Throughout the day, NPCs will come to these hotspots. And there's a lot going on in the background, which if you visit Stanislav's Farlander's link that I'll leave in the description, you'll see just how complex this AI work is. And it's something that tends to get overlooked by people who play the game, because most of the time you're just interested in A, the story, and B, potentially stabbing people, and so on. And sometimes we forget what goes into the making of these things, even if we don't particularly like the game anymore, or we have an issue with the game over time. It's still a pretty damn good game because of the way they handled the open world. As I said in my Witcher videos, and I said in the last Origins video, it's very important to impart a sense of life into these open worlds, because otherwise you end up with a flat, lifeless, boring open world that just consists of people day in, day out, going to shrines, standing, clapping, maybe dancing, and actually not really looking as though they interact with each other. Nobody moves from their marker like I'm doing with Aya, goes and does something else, and interacts with another potential hotspot. That's all you need to do. So we head out a bit further. It's not just the little villages or the towns that have these kind of things. And there is a wealth of animation going on in this game. You won't see the animals' hotspots, but they have their own. These chickens, for instance, have their own AI subroutines. They act mostly like chickens. The kids act like kids. The market's a good place to visit for potential hotspots. You can sometimes find them sort of hanging around the stalls, inside tents. You just have to look around. Always by fires, anywhere by a bench. If you go and stand close to a bench, you should find a hotspot pop up. If I remember rightly, ignore that. There is, out of the way, child, a bench not far away. That you can interact with. Sometimes the player model doesn't quite interact properly with the animation hotspot because of course they aren't set up to use them. It's one of the things missing from the game is the ability for the character to just pick a seat or a bench or a table and sit down. It would be nice if we could interact with these hotspots just to add a little more life to your interaction with the world and immerse yourself in it. I'm taking Aya into the Temple of Sekhmet because there is a fairly good animation hotspot not far away from the very altar of Sekhmet. And during some of the time of day and on certain schedules, you can find the High Priest of Sekhmet performing this very ritual in front of the statue of the goddess. So there's plenty of hotspots here, and they vary day and night. And big cities like Alexandria have their own hotspots. As I said, it's worth experimenting with. But this is really just a very quick tour of the animation hotspots. And the various things that go on. And they don't happen all the time either. And this looks potentially like an Egyptian funeral scene, which is very rare. I haven't actually seen one of those in this particular position before. And that's it really. A quick look at animation hotspots 3 years later in Assassin's Creed Origins. The next video on the open worlds will be Red Dead Redemption 2. I want to highlight some of the ways that Rockstar have gone above and beyond the Call of Duty to create an absolutely immersive, interactive and extremely impressive open world where the AI subsystems and interactions are truly excellent. From animals with their own hunting hierarchy, the food chain, to the people themselves and the interactions the player has with the world. But until then, stay safe, take care. I'll see you in the next one. Have fun. Bye for now.